Hey, YouTubers. So, you might say, where the hell are you? I'm actually in my dad's shed right now, so that's why there's a change of scenery. So, I do apologize if my head is kind of cut off right now. I'm in my father's workshop because basically my parents are on the deck right now and they're having light conversation. And I can't go in the garage because of the freaking flies, the damn flies. And my mom doesn't want, the flies to get in the house. So, anyway, I'm going to smoke in the shed. So, probably the first time you've ever seen this place on camera. I really can't think of a time when I actually smoked in the shed on camera. So, yeah, this is actually kind of nice because I don't have to worry about the wind in the shed. I do have to worry about hot ash because obviously the shed is made out of wood. But aside from that, it's actually pretty nice in here. So, oh, come on. Okay, there we go. So, anyway, um, just relaxing with a cigar. Oh, the house of keeping. Smoking this Gran Habano cigar, a nice big ass cigar. Oh, no, actually, it's actually not the Habano. Sorry, I keep saying it's the Habano because I'm so used to smoking the Habano. It's actually the Gran. Uh, yeah, what is it called? Uh, oh, it is a Gran Habano. Okay. It's Grand Habano, Connecticut. So I thought it was Habano. And for people who are new to my channel, Habano does not mean Cuban. I know I got into a discussion with this about somebody about how they thought the word Habano means Cuban. It's actually not Habano that means Cuban. It's Havano, Havano. So they sound very similar, but they're actually two entirely different things. So the word Habano means basically the shade of the wrapper. So the shade of this wrapper is a Connecticut. So this is a Connecticut shade wrapper. And then the ones I usually smoke, the ones I smoke on camera, for months and months and months, the ones I usually smoke, those are Habano, which is in between a Connecticut and in between a Maduro. And then a Escoro would be obviously the most darkest, the most darkest, and then there'd be like Cameroon. There'd also be like, for example, like Barber Pole. So, and then Connecticut's are obviously the lightest. So, in terms of the word Habano, people commonly confuse it with Havano, which means Cuban cigar. And obviously, contrary to popular belief, no, you cannot buy Cuban cigars in the United States. That is completely a bullshit rumor. So, I know a lot of people think because of what happened in 2016 with President Obama. President Obama contacted Cuba and all that crap. A lot of people think, oh, you can buy Cuban cigars now in the United States. No, you can't. You cannot buy Cuban cigars. You can technically, I think, import a certain amount of Cuban goods in the United States now if you visit Cuba, but you have to go to another country to visit Cuba. So, contrary to popular belief, regardless of what you have heard, you cannot legally buy Cuban cigars in the United States. You can legally possess them, I believe, but you cannot legally buy them in like a smoke shop, meaning your average smoke shop does not sell Cuban cigars. Bottom line, end of story. So, basically, the word Habano refers to the wrapper, and the word Havano, I think it's Havano, refers to the actual like Cuban cigars. Havano cigars or Havano are Cuban cigars, cigars from Cuba. So, and I have had a few Cuban cigars in my lifetime. So, and honestly, they're nothing special. There is nothing special about Cuban cigars. A lot of people think just because Cuban cigar must be like the best cigar money can buy. Completely bullshit. They are nothing special. The reason why people think they're all crazy, like Cuban cigars are the best cigar money can buy, is because they are a quote unquote forbidden fruit. They are a quote unquote forbidden fruit, and therefore that's why people think they're the best cigars the money can buy, because they've been outlawed for so many years since the 1960s. Since President Kennedy was John F. Kennedy was president. A lot of people think they must be the best cigars money can buy. They are nothing special. Now, unless you're talking about like a really, really fucking expensive Cuban cigar, that's a different story. So you're talking about like a $50 Cuban cigar and a $50 bottle of bourbon, then, or like maybe like a $500 bottle of bourbon, then that might be a little bit different of a story. But your average, like for example, I went to Canada back in 2010. I went to Canada back in 2010, and I went to a smoke shop, and I got a Cuban cigar. It was like I don't know, like $5, whatever. It was a cheap ass Cuban cigar, and it was nothing special. It's like it was nothing special. It just, in my personal opinion, like my asshole, and as I say, opinions are like assholes, and yes, I do have my flame shield up, honestly, Cuban cigars, from my experience, my personal experience, are just more smoother and sweeter. They're a little bit smoother, the taste is a little bit more silkier, and they're just a little bit more like sweeter. There's really nothing special. Honestly, I don't personally prefer Cuban cigars. I mean, I've had a few of them here and there, probably in total maybe about 15 or 20, and there's nothing special about them. The reason why people think they're so fucking cool is because they're forbidden fruit, because they've been outlawed for so long. It's kind of like, marijuana. Marijuana was outlawed for so many years and recently became legal in many, many different states over the past, 15 years, or over the past, like, decade or so. It's become legal in a lot of places now. And therefore people think it's so fantastic, I've never smoked marijuana myself, nor do I have any plans on smoking marijuana. It's actually a violation of my lease to possess marijuana, because I live in federal subsidized housing. But honestly, from what I've heard from people about marijuana, it's nothing special. It's nothing that special. It's not like, doing some, fantastic, drug. It's like, there's nothing special about it. It's not anything special. And I mean, it has wonderful medicinal benefits, a lot of medicinal benefits for, cancer patients, HIV patients, MS patients, that kind of stuff, all that kind of crap. But for your average person, it's nothing fantastic. So I haven't done it myself, but I mean, I haven't heard anything like fantastic about, marijuana. It's like, honestly, I mean, the bottom line is when something is a forbidden fruit, when something is outlawed for so many years, there's a certain like desire, a certain like for example, when alcohol was outlawed back in the 1920s, in the 19-teens and 1920s, there was a huge like desire, like it became like really fucking cool because it was outlawed. Honestly, I mean, I've drank alcohol many times in my life because I'm over 21, and it's nothing really that special about it. Unless you're talking about like drinking to the point where you pass out, there's really nothing that special about having a beer. I mean, kids, people under the age of 21 think it's so special. I'm not glorifying or encouraging in any way, shape, or form for people under the age of 21 to use that product. But honestly, there's nothing special about it. It's like, a lot of people who are under 21 think, oh, the first time I have my first drink, it's going to be amazing. I'm 21, and they find out, honestly, when they're 21 years old, it's nothing fantastic. There's nothing fantastic about like, oh, I get to have a beer, or I get to have a glass of wine, or I get to have a mixed drink. I get to have a martini or a margarita. It's honestly, unless you're talking about drinking to the point where you pass out, there's really nothing special about it. It's pretty much what you'd expect. It just tastes a little bit different. It's like, when I had my first alcoholic drink, it tastes a little bit like there's a little bit of a bite to it, kind of like, I don't know. So that's the whole freaking point. Is when something is a quote unquote forbidden fruit, it's a forbidden fruit. There's a certain desire and a certain like burning desire for people to like seek that product. But honestly, there's really nothing special about Cuban cigars. There's really nothing special about cannabis. There's really nothing special about alcohol. It's like it's like a lot of like even like soda, for example. Like a lot of parents won't let their kids drink soda until they're 9 or 10 or 12 years old, because the soda is so bad for you, or it has caffeine, or it has a lot of like my parents wouldn't let me drink coffee until I was about 14 or 15 years old, because it's a stimulant. Coffee's a stimulant, caffeine's a stimulant, and it can constrict your blood vessels and cause whatever. And my parents waited until I was in my mid-teens before I started drinking coffee on a regular basis. And honestly, it's like, it's nothing special. It's like, now I'm not saying if you buy I'm not saying if you buy like a $100 Cuban cigar from the best wherever it's going to with like $1,000 bottle of liqueur, it's going to be like good. I mean, of course it's probably going to be good. Of course it's probably going to be good. But I mean, the whole idea that they're the best cigars on the planet, or they're the best cigars money can buy, is just bullshit. I mean, bullshit can be bullshit, but I mean, it's just a over exaggerated thing. So don't listen to bullshit rumors about, oh, Cuban cigars are the best cigar money can buy. Or, for example, marijuana is the best thing since sliced bread. It's the best thing since, tap water or drinking water. There's nothing better than it. Or, for example, when you have your first drink when you're 21 years old, it's like the best thing since, having your first piece of, like, chewing gum. Not chewing tobacco, but chewing gum. So, I mean, it's just really bullshit. I mean, because it's really hyped up and like over exaggerated because it's a forbidden fruit. It's a forbidden fruit. I'm not going to get into religion, that kind of bullshit. It's a forbidden fruit, and it's it's really hyped up because you're either restricted from having it for so long, or you are restricted from having it, period. Like for many years, marijuana was just completely off limits because it was illegal. It's not to say that people didn't smoke it, but if you did smoke and you were caught, you could be fined, you could go to jail, you could lose your license, you could go on probation, you could have to take piss tests, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so don't get the impression that back to the whole point of like Cuban cigars are the best frickin' cigars money can buy. It's like it's just bull crap. It's like so anyway, enough of that ramble. So that was a big 10-minute ramble there. So yeah, outside right now it's going to start storming. We're probably going to get some heavy rain, and also some heavy rain, and also some thunder showers. So hopefully by dinner time the roads will be safe. Just because my dad and I are gonna we're gonna go to dinner to get some takeout dinner from Chipotle. So Chipotle, which is a restaurant. Yeah. Whew. Getting very smoky in here. That's one downside to smoking in the shed, is it gets very, very, very smoky in here. Very smoky. So, anyway, so, yeah, I'm having a good day overall. I'm enjoying my big-ass cigar, and, yeah. And, yeah, so things are going well. I'm going to my cigar shop tomorrow, wash a cigar, and, smoke a couple nice big-ass cigars as Big-Ass Cigar for Life. And, yeah, the deal will be tomorrow, I will, let's see, wake up around 9 o'clock in the morning. I will, my parents will drop me at Dunkin' Donuts, which is a coffee shop. I'll get, coffee and get a water, and then I'm bringing my lunch because all the restaurants around that place, nothing there is gluten-free. So I'm bringing two peanut butter sandwiches, two gluten-free peanut butter sandwiches. A lot of people wonder if peanut butter is gluten-free, and the answer is 99% of the time it is gluten-free. Yeah, peanut butter in of itself is gluten-free. Now, where it gets a little bit tricky with peanut butter is like Reese's peanut butter cups, like candy that has peanut butter, like chocolate that has peanut butter. But traditional peanut butter, like in the jar, the frickin' jar, that's almost always gluten-free. Almost always. There is really, even like your cheapest, like Walmart peanut butter is naturally gluten-free. There's nothing glutinous about it, or gluttonous about it, whatever. So, but in terms of, Reese's peanut butter cups, traditional Reese's peanut butter cups are gluten-free. But in terms of, more exotic candies, they may or may not contain gluten. So, but regular peanut butter, like regular traditional peanut butter, like Skippy peanut butter, Jif peanut butter, Peter Pan peanut butter, Smucker's peanut butter, not fuckers, but Smucker's peanut butter is traditionally gluten-free. Yeah. There's nothing gluten about it because peanuts in their natural state are gluten-free. The only thing you have to watch out for is potential cross-contamination with peanuts. Some peanuts are produced in the same lines. They're produced on shared lines as, for example, like wheat, for example. So some peanuts in jars, like regular whole peanuts, for example, have traces of wheat, for example, as well as soy or dairy or tree nuts, for example. But in terms of regular peanuts in their natural state, or for example, peanut butter or peanut flour, it's naturally gluten-free. Of course, I like to call it, it's being silly ass like the Big Ass Cigar, I call it penis butter, just being silly ass like the Big Ass Cigar. So, yeah, penis, being silly ass like the Big Ass Cigar. Anyway, that's about it. So, have a nice day, YouTubers. Pretty fucking cool. Bye.